Jack
Good luck.
Flabbergasted.
James will appreciate that.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Morning Sports Podcast. I am BA along with Keith Engel from TGI Sports Talk about shit. Jack Hurst. I hope you gentlemen are doing good this fine Sunday morning. Of course, help us out, Keith, for TGI Sports Talk is supporting him by setting stars. There you go.
You don't have to put that up. I can't stop that from going up there, but when I share.
You're good. You're good. We do that. We support. All right. So it was a very fun-filled Saturday as far as sports is concerned. Kind of don't know which way to go with this yet. Let's go with the NBA. Jalen Brunson scores 30 and Mikal Bridges added 22 as the Knicks take a stranglehold of the series over the Cavs, 121-108. The Knicks now have a 3-0 lead going into Monday's contest with a chance to close the Cavs out. And I think that's going to happen. I think the Cavs are done. I think they're through.
10 straight wins for the Knicks. There's no reason to think that the Cavs are going to win 4 straight here.
Good morning, Jay. He's on the road. So.
Hello, James.
Speaking of that, somebody said you were on a quarter-pointed trip there.
Listen, I'm just hoping everything's okay. That's all, Yeah,
there you go.
By the way, OG plays well last night again, too. Really,
yes.
Best effort he's had since he got hurt. And he's looking less tentative each game. So the Knicks are only going to get better from here, you would think, because they've done this the last with him either out or half speed for the last 5 games, I think. So not half speed, maybe, but.
Yeah, it looks kind of bleak.
The series is over as far as who's going to win it, but there's still interest. I'm very curious to see how Cleveland shows up for Game 4, how much pride they show to win that game, because you win a Game 4, if you go to Madison Square Garden, there's a little pressure on the Knicks. Not that they're in danger of losing the series, but they might feel, well, if we don't win Game 5, now we're going to Cleveland for Game 6. I mean, the Knicks are ultimately going to grab the 4th game. Cleveland's not going to win 4 in a row. I mean, it's safe to say that. But if Cleveland shows up for Game 4, fired up, they win the game, they take a little something out of it. But if Cleveland goes out timidly and gets swept by the Knicks, that's what people are going to remember. That's what they're going to remember in the offseason. And I get the feeling that Cleveland was content just to get by Toronto, just to finally advance in the playoffs, put a dent in the playoffs. But that's not good enough for a team, with their personnel. And they played yesterday like it was a regular season game where they had played a couple of nights before. They weren't playing like their season was on the line, which it basically was yesterday. The effort was just disappointing that they put out.
Defensively, for sure. Their defensive effort is putrid, I think, in this series. That's why I wanted to play this team and not the Pistons, because I thought the defense would be much better from Detroit. Again, we don't know because we're not seeing them, but I know what I've seen out of Cleveland, and it has not been good. I mean, the Knicks have been tremendous. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from my team's performance, but the Cavs' defensive efforts have been awful. I mean, Harden has played horribly offensively, but defensively, he might as well not be on the court sometimes.
And you know who's watching this pretty intently? LeBron James. Because if Cleveland advanced to the finals, he wasn't going to be going to Cleveland because there wouldn't be an urgency to have LeBron. But they need a spark. He's a free agent. They wouldn't have to give anything up from him. It's home. And I'm sure he's had those discussions with his wife. Are they entrenched in the LA area? Because if they're not, Cleveland's the most logical place because he could be a difference maker for them. He could be a savior. And the community in Cleveland would love having him come back. It's like their native son would be coming back. And obviously it wouldn't be an unfamiliar place to him. It would be a place that deep in his heart, he still probably thinks of as being home. So as soon as this series ends for Cleveland, that's going to be the story. LeBron come home.
I think it's a big story. I do. I think it'd be pretty cool for him to go full circle and come back to Cleveland a second time. I don't think you can accuse him of chasing titles because there's other teams he could probably go to that are closer to winning than the Cavs. But
what's about chasing titles? No, it is about chasing titles, but living somewhere where he wants to live.
Well, it's where he wants to win the title too. I mean, right? I mean, listen, I find myself defending LeBron, I guess, but him wanting to go back to Cleveland and win one more, I think it's a good story. And I think it's a feel good story if you want to feel good about LeBron about something. I know a lot of people don't, but I try to separate, the LeBron hatred from the LeBron reality of who he is and what he is on the court. He's a great player, and I'd like to see him finish his career where he started.
I mean, as far as the pressure is concerned, I kind of disagree with that, Jack, because really, I mean, even if they lose today, lose on Monday, they still got to come back to the Garden. So I just don't see any pressure on New York to win anything, to win the next game. I think Cleveland is toast.
No, what I mean, Brian, if the Knicks get complacent, lose a game 4, everyone assumes they're going to win game 5. Everyone's going to be under that assumption. But if they somehow slip up in a game 5, all of a sudden it gets to be annoying, this series. Okay, there's the thought, can the Knicks blow it? This and that. They're not. They're obviously not. But
why can't I assume they win game 4, Jack? Because I don't see any reason to think they're not going to sweep this right now. I see no fight out of Cleveland.
Well, but that's it. Cleveland has actually a chance to show a little character because they have one more game left. To everyone, this is over. Cleveland has been a failure the way they've shown up. All of us, let's be honest, we've all put Cleveland in our rearview mirror. As far as we're concerned, the Knicks are already in the finals. The Cavaliers were colossal disappointment. Shame on them. But guess what? It's like the guy who kept cheating on his wife. He's coming back for the 4th time on his hands and knees begging, and she's actually giving him a chance. One final chance. Okay, to maybe, redeem himself a little bit. And Cleveland has that one little chance here. Show pride for one game. Don't get swept. How's that? Lose game 5 at the Garden. Show a little bite. Win game 4, then lose game 5. At least you would have shown a little character if you're the Cavaliers. And in the off season, you don't have to think we got swept. That word's the meanest word in sports for teams, swept. Charles Barkley had the broom out yesterday. He was sweeping up in the studio while the other commentators were talking.
And I am guilty of having moved on. I don't see that because now I'm more interested in I know we'll talk about it, the Thunder and Spurs going 7 games and beating the crap out of each other. That's what I'd like to see. So.
I still don't think that's going to matter. I think that the West has just got too much punch right now.
Well,
speaking of which, San Antonio takes on OKC for a pivotal game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. AJ Mitchell for the Thunder will not be available for game 4 and due to a strained calf. OKC might be also without Jalen Williams again because of his continued hamstring soreness. So it's kind of
Which one? The good one? That's
the good Jalen Williams.
The good one.
Yeah, the Jalen, not the Jaylin.
Those guys confuse the heck out of me, man.
Yeah, but yes, so they may be down two of their more antagonistic players that might help San Antonio a little bit. But I know one thing: Wemby's got to step up. And, he's been scoring fine, but he's got to step up.
Thunder, the ultimate next man up, though. I mean, their benches average probably over 60 points. They scored 73 points off the bench the other night. They're so deep. That's going to be the problem for the Spurs the rest of the way here. And let's assume the Knicks. I mean, they're so deep. They can throw so many bodies at you. It's unbelievable. SGA is the only one who played over 30 minutes the other night for the starters. And the Spurs were not out of that game. It isn't like it was garbage time. This is a tremendous bench. And I just think this team is too deep for the Spurs. And maybe I'm going to be obviously picking the Knicks, homer, but it's going to be very tough.
That's a question, though.
That's arguable. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson's the best player in the NBA that doesn't get talked about enough, right? We never bring them up in MVP conversations. You take them off this Knicks team, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but
that's definitely true.
Yeah, but when you talk about MVP conversations, it's only the regular season.
Yeah,
and it's easy to forget now that Knicks slightly underachieved during the regular season. They slightly underachieved. I mean, you're thinking of the playoffs now where they've been great since falling behind 2-1 against Atlanta. But they've slightly underachieved, and he really was. I mean, he really wasn't the MVP. I mean, you make a much greater case for Jaylen Brown being a regular season MVP than you could Brunson, because nothing was expected of the Celtics, and they didn't. I mean, they had a heck of a year because of Jaylen Brown and Tatum out. So he was more worthy of MVP consideration.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying he should win. I'm not saying he should win. I'm saying he should be in the conversation a little more than what he's been the last couple of years. And as far as the regular season goes, I mean, the goal is to get to the playoffs and be playing well when you get there. And that's the Knicks accomplished exactly that. You don't need to win 68 games in the regular season.
No, but the awards are given out for the regular season. I agree. They should everything should count. Playoffs should count, and we should wait till the postseason.
Because most of those people that are
done,
most of those people that are candidates are in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
So it should count. I feel the same way about football. I think it should count in football too. I don't understand why people don't use that as a moniker, because they use it anyway to sway their decisions. I don't care what anybody says the regular season award. It's still, they look at the playoffs and say, oh well, he's doing a pretty good job, and that kind of sways your position a little bit, because you're a human being. It's just going to count unless you make it immediately after the season is over.
Yeah.
But if you do it during the playoffs, I mean, what's the point? Yeah, he was in MVP conversation, just not top three. He should have been at least top three, top four, because he is the engine that propelled that Knicks team this season. I feel he is just all over. Dude is clutch.
For me, MVP isn't about the numbers and whatever. It's if you take that guy away, what happens to that?
Exactly.
Right? That's the ultimate question. And you have to, I mean, the Knicks would be nowhere. They would not have won 52 games or whatever they won in the regular season. You underachieve or not, they would have won 35 games.
I might say that would probably be the reason why SGA shouldn't win the MVP, because they've won games without him. They have a complete team.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you take Wemby at Spurs, they don't win a bunch of games either. So, right. So again, that to me, that's always the ultimate.
Like if we're talking about this series with Wemby stepping up, I mean, what's expected of him after a while? But I mean, maybe the expectations are too high, because just being the best player on San Antonio, performing better than all his teammates, isn't enough. He's got to take it to a Herculean level. like he did in game one. He can't just be good. He can't just give us 28 points, 13 rebounds. You look at that and you say, oh, we need more out of that from Wemby. You know what? We need 38 points and 18 rebounds. I mean, the bar he sets so high. But I think we could agree on this. For the most part, San Antonio's season's on the line tonight. They have to win. I mean, San Antonio is fully capable of winning 2 games in a row against OKC. Fully capable. I don't think 3 in a row. I don't think with 2 of the games at OKC, they fall behind 3-1. They're not going to come back and win this series. Not to say that they couldn't all of a sudden win a game 5 in OKC, then win a game 6 at home, but then to go back to OKC for game 7, it's too much of a mountain at that point. I mean, against other teams, yeah, you could come back against, but a team as well balanced as OKC, you fall behind them 3-1. OKC's not losing that series, but they win tonight. San Antonio. Game 5, believe it or not, guys, isn't a must game for San Antonio the way tonight is.
Fair.
Well, and James brings up a good point. Coaching does matter well, too, in San Antonio. He's got to make better adjustments. I mean, it's apparent that Wemby has to be a staple in the paint, because if they don't win that paint battle, they're not winning those games. And and you're right, he does need to score like between 30 and 35 points to make any of these games, plausible, because the rest of his teammates are, they're exerting a lot of energy here, and they're not getting too many good results. Their defense kind of steps up sometimes, and then it kind of just falters. It's kind of weird how it's like in the beginning of the last game, they had a 15-0 run, and it just melted away, and they, OKC outscored them by 30 points, and they ended up winning by 15. So, San Antonio's got to get their head up their behinds.
Fox, Castle, Harper, those guys have to come through. Those guys play really well. Wemby could be so conceivably, and they could still win. And if Wemby's at the top of his game and those guys are playing well, San Antonio wins. But like you say, OKC can keep going to their bench. They can keep throwing a lot of guys at you. It becomes a battle of attrition. It starts favoring OKC.
A lot of that, I was just going to say, a lot of that stuff we talk about them fading, and that's because they're having to play more minutes. The stars are having to play more minutes, and they wear down. And coaching is the same thing. It's a lot easier to coach when your bench is 11 deep and not 7 deep. So
right.
Johnson hasn't done a horrible job because, again, he doesn't have as many weapons. And by the way, I just found out, I didn't know he was the son of John Johnson, former NBA player with Seattle and Cleveland. I didn't know that. He was a nice player on a championship team in Seattle. So I wish Mo had brought this up before.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tonight. San Antonio really does need to get their stuff together.
They do,
because you might say Game 5's not it won't be a must win for San Antonio, but it will, because remember, OKC has the home court advantage. So, and the way they're playing and that bench is playing, they got to win Game 5 too.
And they've been better coached, OKC as well. If you just look at the ball movement. Look at how fluid that offense is. The ball is going all over the place. And you look at San Antonio, there's a certain indecisiveness on offense.
All right. Yeah, he does.
Sorry, I didn't know I let out a secret on the air.
So going into the other playoff series that we have, which is the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, the Canes last night evened the series with the Habs as Nikolai Ehlers scores the winning goal in overtime to even that series up at 1 apiece. And now the series is going to shift, of course, to the Habs. So let's see what's going on with Montreal. Montreal's putting up a good fight. This series and the Colorado series, Las Vegas, have been surprising.
Guys, And I don't know if I think, Brian, you might have been on this bandwagon, kept telling me that, this is going to be the Avs and Carolina. Forget about, we weren't even going to play the games, and the Golden Knights are up 2-0 and heading home. So both of these series are certainly, and again, it could be the layoff. We talked about this with the Knicks, but it felt like the Hurricanes were off for 2 weeks, and it showed in game one. And certainly they played better last night, but again, that's why they play the games, right? So, and
they played well. They played a lot better yesterday. I actually caught that game in most of the second and third periods into overtime, and the Canes actually looked like they played a lot better. They were on their skates a lot better. They forechecked a lot better. So we'll see what happens in the next game with the Habs, because if this is a turning point for Carolina, this overtime, and it wakes them up. I feel bad for the Canadians right now, because that might wake up a beast they didn't want to wake up.
Well, I've been accused of rooting for Canada, not my country. But first of all, this isn't an international competition. So all I've said was hockey's better when the Canadians are relevant. And I don't think that statement's wrong. And I don't think it means I'm rooting for them necessarily.
Yeah. Oh, well. As a broadcaster in Canada who has a show going to be saying that, he's rooting for the Boston Bruins, for example. The Rangers, the Red Wings.
I made a simple statement of hockey. Every sport's better when certain teams are good or relevant, at least. And hockey's better when Montreal's relevant. So the NHL's better than that.
I don't know if you checked out our little chat thing there this morning, Keith, but the pesky California guy, I told him, I said, it's great when there's hockey in a warm weather state that doesn't belong to have hockey in the first place. That's great. Awesome. I'd rather have Canada.
Where is Danny this morning?
Right. Where is Danny?
All of a sudden become a Canuck. I don't know how that happened, but
the Avalanche take on the Golden Knights in a must-win Game 3 for Colorado. Las Vegas serves ice as there's no word of defenseman Cale Marker injury situation, although he is listed day to day, so maybe he can come play this game. They really haven't put out a marker on that yet. But Avalanche got to get together. They're looking bad, and I'm not even blaming a layover for that. They're just getting outplayed. Yeah, they're getting outplayed. They're getting outboarded. They're getting out everything right now. They're getting to the Golden Knights are getting to the pucks a lot better. I don't know what's going on in Colorado, but they got to wake up here.
A lot of go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, with Las Vegas, you look at Jack Eichel's contribution, and wasn't it a few years ago where the Sabres didn't want to give him a contract because he had some neck fusion, some surgery or whatever? Yeah. They didn't know whether he would even be able to play a couple of more years, and he loved it at Buffalo. He wanted to stay. He didn't want to go anywhere. And now look, couldn't the Sabres have used him in the series against Montreal? Imagine he was still on the team. That may have been the difference, believe it or not, guys, of them advancing in the playoffs and not Montreal. There's a lesson to be learned. These players who you don't sign because you have all these concerns about injuries, and then they wind up playing a good number of years, how it could alter franchises' fortunes in a way we'd never know.
We talk about coaches making a difference. A lot of raised eyebrows when they fired their coach with 8 games left. I think it was 8 games left, and brought in Tortorella. And he's a very polarizing figure, right? But he's very good in the short term. And maybe that's all they need to maybe get over the hump here, because again, they're going home up 2-0. That's a pretty good advantage right there.
Yeah, and they're not too far away from being in the Stanley Cup in the first place. The Golden Knights, they're a very good team. They've been a good team since their inception, actually, into the league. So
didn't they go to the Stanley Cup? Their original,
second. I think it was their second year that they went.
I thought it was their first.
Might have been the first year. Could have been.
Hockey tried to then change the formats with expansion teams. Because expansion teams didn't beat championship caliber teams for a while. It should be at least 5 years before they even sniffing going to a championship. It's so unfair to these long-standing franchises
The NHL has done this before. They have a history of this. In the 60s, the St. Louis Blues, I think, went to the Stanley Cup like their first 3 seasons. They went to they didn't win, I don't think, but they went to the finals their first 3 seasons. So I agree with you. It shouldn't happen that way.
Yeah, it should. It should be just like any other sports. If you get a franchise, you got to start from scratch, buddy.
And it's fun with the fans of the new franchise because they're just so happy to have a new team. They can easily tolerate a few mediocre seasons in the beginning.
Yeah, because it gives like the original 6 a chance to get back into the swing of things. Because right now the original 6, I mean,
oh man,
all of them, all the teams are crap.
The Red Wings.
Yeah, the Red Wings, Boston,
Montreal,
Toronto.
Another reason I lean towards Montreal here, right, is because I like when the Rangers aren't good. I look for another original 6 team to kind of hook my wagon to, and I'll look for the Canadians.
I'm with you on that one. I am with you on that one. Boxing news for Jack here. Alexandra Usyk was pushed to limit in a TKO win over
Rico Verhoeven.
There you go, kickboxer Rico Verhoeven last night at the pyramids of Giza in Egypt.
Yeah, the fight was stopped with 1 second left in the 11th round. And as the fight was unfolding, it looked like Verhoeven could pull off a great upset. Verhoeven is considered one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. I think we have to start looking at these kickboxers a lot different when they face a traditional boxer because they do have boxing experience, the kickboxers, but it's different as far as being fluid. But you know what? You know what the difference is? And I'm going to give the best analogy of a middle distance runner a great middle distance runner going against an elite marathoner. Like take the 72 and 76 Olympics. There was this great runner from Finland called Lassi Viren. He won the 5,000 and 10,000 meters. That's a little over 3 and a little over 6 miles. The gold medal in both events, both the 72 and 76 Olympics. But then in the 76 Olympics, he ran the Olympic marathon to try to get a triple, and he came in 5th place. I think, which was great. 5th place was great. He placed really high, but he didn't win the gold medal, a medal at all. But that's what it basically is. These kickboxers could really compete very well against traditional boxers until the end of the fight. When it gets to be grueling, a test of character, conditioning, they don't quite have the same level of conditioning. They have a different level of conditioning, and they start kind of falling apart a little bit, and the traditional boxer figures it out. And that's what happened yesterday with Usyk. I thought he was behind on points. 2 of the judges had it even, meaning had it gone to a decision, the referee didn't stop the fight, Usyk absolutely would have gotten the decision. Chances are he would have stopped Verhoeven the following round. But this is why I'm annoyed about the controversy, fellas. Everyone's complaining, the fight was stopped too soon by the referee with 1 second to go. Well, before that, Usyk knocks down Verhoeven. Verhoeven either spit out his mouthpiece or he lost it legitimately. I don't care what the reason was. You don't deprive Usyk of the chance of finishing him off by calling timeout to get the mouthpiece back in. Valuable time is going off the clock, and Verhoeven's getting a chance to recuperate. You're robbing Usyk of the opportunity. Like I was telling you before the show, Brian, I was at a fight in Las Vegas in 2005. One of the legendary fights of all time in boxing history, action-packed incredibly. Diego Corrales is against Jose Luis Castillo. Corrales is knocked down twice late in the fight. He's on his knees, crawling. He spits out his mouthpiece after each knockdown. And he did it deliberately, knowing the ref is going to go timeout take the mouthpiece to get rinsed off. It gave him a chance to recuperate. Guess what? He recuperated and he staged a miraculous comeback out of nowhere and stopped Castillo. As soon as he spit out his darn mouthpiece, the ref should have said, it's over. I stopped the fight. You're done. So yesterday, and I'm sorry, I'm going a little too long. I'm going to just conclude it. So yesterday, when Verhoeven lost his mouthpiece, time should not have been called. Usyk would have finished him off at that moment, and there wouldn't have been any controversy later on. You know, like
rule, Jack? Is it a rule that you need to call timeout?
It's a rule when there's a lull in the action, then you call timeout. A lull means when no one's in any danger, this and that. Yeah. No one, but the referee considered it a lull because Usyk was in a neutral corner after knocking Verhoeven down. That's not a lull to me when the guy is in trouble. You're depriving Usyk of ending the fight. Was the stoppage earlier? The ref stop it a little early after that? Maybe a touch. I'm not probably not if there was more time remaining in the round, but there was 1 second remaining in the round. That was the controversy. Oh, he should have let it go, and so on. But yeah, okay, I'll agree with that point. But listen, guys, it's like this. For example, a pitcher giving up 7 runs. But he would have been out of the inning if there weren't 2 errors right before, the avalanche came on him. But an easy pop-up was dropped. Like in the Yankee World Series game, the 3 miscues. Remember in Game 5?
Very well, yes.
Remember, avalanche, if just 1 play was made right out of the 3, Yankees escaped with a 5-run lead. So everyone but they remember giving up the 5 runs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you something, Jack. What was Rico's physical measurements? Because that dude was huge. Compared to Usyk.
Well conditioned, awkward. The question's this: Usyk, at like 40, pushing at it as time caught up to him. We don't know. Verhoeven, is he just awkward? He looked in great shape, and he looked really good. Mm-hmm. I want to see Rico Verhoeven fight a decent box. I'd like to see him fight a guy like Richard Torres, Olympic silver medalist who got knocked out yesterday. No one talks about that in 2 rounds. 1 punch by Frank Sanchez. Let him fight the guy that got knocked down, Verhoeven, and if he wins, say, hey, he's really legitimate. Look, a great MMA guy, Francis Ngannou. He fought Tyson Fury. He nearly beat him. He lost a close decision. Then Ngannou fought Anthony Joshua after that. Joshua knocks him out basically with 1 punch, in the 2nd round. So Ngannou looked like he didn't belong in the ring against Joshua, but against Fury, he came close to beating him. So I want to see Verhoeven box a good heavyweight outside of Usyk. And that'll give us an idea. Is Usyk too old or this or that? If Verhoeven does really well against another heavyweight, we might actually give Usyk some credit what he did yesterday. But as it turned out, guys, in all honesty, it was a surprise because we were thinking in terms of guys, a kickboxer, and he shouldn't be competing against a traditional boxer, as great as Usyk. So that was a shock that Usyk was given a scare. Because as the fight was going along, we're thinking, it looks like Usyk's actually going to lose this fight. But one last thing on this, too. Sometimes we get a little, even myself included, a little influenced by the TV commentators. Because Verhoeven was doing better than we thought. They were making it out to be like, wow, Verhoeven's clearly in front. But when the fight was over, even Verhoeven said, we were pretty even. It was a pretty even fight. And that's what 2 of the judges had it. 1 judge had Verhoeven up 6 rounds to 4. 2 judges had it 5 rounds apiece. So that means, even if the ref allowed it to go on and Verhoeven came out for round 12, Verhoeven could have came out for round 12 and won the round and still would have lost on the scorecards.
Well, Verhoeven is evened his boxing record up because he did box before. I think it was back in 2017. I think I read, and he won that match. So he has some kind of experience. But he still has some kind of experience in the boxing ring. So I give him credit for that. But that guy's a pretty big dude. And they're both. I mean, you got to look at it. Usyk is 39 and he's 37. So it was pretty much of even keel battle between.
With modern training, modern conditioning techniques, athletes are performing well at a much older age. But there's certain skill sports. And I've got to tell you, Keith would give an opinion on this. Like Juan Soto, like the 15-year deal with all the modern conditioning things. I don't think we're seeing like, Soto's not a shortstop, but 40-year-old shortstops, for example. You kind of lose something when you're getting older in certain other sports. And I don't think receivers in football, when they get to be 40 years old, are making those great athletic type catches. But something about boxing, you can perform at a much older age.
I'm losing something, so I have to agree with you there. I'm losing a lot myself. I can't.
And your golf game, Keith, you lose.
My golf game has lost a lot of yardage, I can tell you, in the last 20 years. So.
You wouldn't figure that because you're on the golf course a lot there, Keith. What's going on, man?
Yeah, well, your body doesn't kind of move the same way it did, when you're 66 as compared to even 46. So I've lost some distance. I get it. So I can relate to everybody we're talking about, Jack.
Well, at what age is LeBron going to start losing it? If LeBron decides 45. He wants about 5, he might have 50. About 5 more years.
I think he could play. Not at an elite level, but I think
the level he's at now, close to it.
Yeah, if he wanted to accept a lesser role, right, and
play point guard, just run the offense, and
I think he could play 5 more years.
He takes really good care of himself.
Amazing.
It's amazing how much he takes. It's kind of like him and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the same way. Yeah, Tom Brady's the same way. They take care of each other. They take care of their bodies really well. So hey, he could play to 50.
Another reason I might be failing now too is just shoveling coffee.
You're
not in top peak condition there, Keith.
No, I mean Tom Brady's never had a coffee. I couldn't live without coffee for crying out loud.
Listen. As age does catch up, like I'm out there running, okay, and I'm thinking I'm setting a good pace, and then I'm looking parallel to myself. Someone else is jogging slow, and I say, they're passing me.
Hey, age is undefeated. That's for sure.
They're passing Jack on the left and the right, and it's
So on Thursday, of course, we lost NASCAR driver Kyle Busch, 41. They finally came out with the autopsy of why he passed away, or the reason why he passed away is after severe pneumonia, and it led to sepsis. So now we know the cause of his death, which is sad. I mean, that's something that's just wow. That just springs up on you. It's one of those kind of things. It's like, man, he was fine. He got a little sick, and then all of a sudden it turned to something more. It's like, wow.
I don't know how you have, that severe pneumonia turns to sepsis. You don't even know he knew he was sick because he called, said at the end of his last race that he wanted to see the doctor after the race. And I've had pneumonia. And man, I knew I was sick. I can tell you right now, not as severe as this, double pneumonia or whatever. And once you get sepsis, man, even at a young age, that's hard to fight off because your organs just start shutting down. And that's happening to him it must have been happening to him over the course of that week. And I mean, he was in a simulator when he was found unresponsive. He was still, out doing what he does. And it's tragic that.
Yeah, the person that found him, a name source, by the way, that found him, said he was coughing up blood too. So that right there should have told you the seriousness of that situation. But at least they got some kind of reason why he passed away. It wasn't just something that just that's still bad.
Well, there's sometimes mysterious. We don't know. And should we necessarily know about a public personality, an athlete? Like we were talking boxing a little while ago. We don't know the exact cause of Marvin Hagler passing away at age 64. We don't know the exact cause of George Foreman, age 76. Okay, I mean, but should we know? Are we entitled to know? I mean, we're curious, but I'm not sure that we're entitled to know. But Kyle Busch at 41, the curiosity factor would have been off the charts if we weren't told. I mean, we wonder was there foul play? Was we'd want some type of investigation when a guy's that young.
Yeah, sudden death with that youth at that youth. I'd say that would pretty much keep the sports world on its toes a little bit, because it's like, what? Why did he die so early? And he was so fit, and he was at the top of his game too. I
hope young people can use this as a bit of a lesson. All right, don't just ignore, because we think we're indestructible when we're younger, right? And you ignore a lot of stuff. I know I did, and not to that extent, but when you don't feel well, go see a doctor, because you don't know what can happen if you don't. So.
Well, what James is mentioning, the public deserves to know as well. Take the case, for example, of, we're talking martial arts, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He was 37. Do we still know the reason? I don't think we know the reason. And in a way, that adds to his mystique, that adds to his legacy.
It does.
Because his legacy is so darn mysterious, like what he may have done as a martial artist, what he was, how he died.
He was only 30.
At age 37, like what the heck,
I don't think he was even 37, Jack. I think he was like 30.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe look it up. Because at 32 or 37. I said 37. I thought he was 30. Yeah. Then he was 32. Excuse me. Look it up.
You gotta remember.
32. I'm sorry, 32.
You gotta remember, James got that out there. Good job, James. Related, a related incident was Dale Earnhardt Sr. when he ran into the wall. I mean, nobody even knew he was, they knew he was injured, but they didn't know he was close to death at that point. And I mean, this whole thing came out about the cage he was in, or the chair that he was in, and all that stuff.
Right?
It's the neck brace for the chair. Yeah. So I mean, and it changed NASCAR. That changed NASCAR. His death changed NASCAR in the way they have the safety issues with the cars. So
that looked like one of the least violent accidents I'd ever seen on a race course, right? Of a guy that died. It probably is the least violent crash I've ever seen of a person that passed away. So it's
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just one of those chance things that happened to him. Yeah. All right. Getting into some NFL, quarterback Jacoby Brissett has foregone his OTAs until him and the Cardinals agree to terms on a revised deal. Boy, I tell you, the Cardinals, they can't win even in the offseason. I mean, who they got? What was their second string quarterback? Because if they don't sign Brissett, man, they're screwed. So,
wait, they're screwed if they do sign Brissett. So what are you talking about?
Wait a minute.
They're screwed if they do sign him. Jacoby Brissett has been all over the place. I mean, he's a band. They got Carson Beck. Okay, they got Carson Beck.
Yeah.
You have to find out this season what Carson Beck can do, because chances are, guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, because my predictions haven't been the best. If they last
me
season,
and you both, Jack.
I would have, Keith could vouch for that, what I said about the Patriots, and I was dead wrong last year. But I would assume that Arizona is going to be picking high in the draft next year, that they don't have a very good team, okay? I know they got Jeremiah Love, and they made some moves, but the point is, you got to find out what Carson Beck has. If Carson Beck is really good this year, you don't have to draft a quarterback next year, with your first round pick.
Not unless he's
you're not going to find out with Jacoby Brissett running the ship. Jacoby Brissett is not going to be a quarterback of the future. At best, he's a bridge quarterback. A bridge quarterback for losing team is expendable.
Unless he's going to make them better and he's ready, and don't play him on a horrible team, because you may ruin him for good.
Ruin him, yeah. That's okay, Keith. He's ruined anyway. If you don't play him, you'll never get a chance later on.
No, not necessarily.
You play Carson Beck, maybe he shows. Listen, Other rookies have played on bad teams, and look what they've done.
Again,
Caleb,
he's got to be ready, though. They didn't even play Patrick Mahomes when he first
he
came
is
in.
ready. Carson Beck has played in college forever. He's ready.
Totally different game. That's a totally different game. Come on.
You think Carson Beck's been playing forever?
Not everybody. He may be, and I'm not saying he's not. He could go to training camp and prove that he's ready to play, and I'd be wrong. But more often than not, there's a lot of guys that played on bad teams, got the crap beat out of them, lost their confidence, and we'll never know whether they would have been any good. Never. And they might have stunk all the way. I'm saying they wouldn't have, but I think you can't throw a kid to the wolves like that either and expect him.
What do you mean the wolves? It says you throw Jacoby Brissett to the wolves. Is that what you mean? I mean, you got to play. Listen,
he's been here forever. He's been here forever. I mean, that's not the same thing as throwing a kid. Well, he's not a kid.
You got to. These quarterbacks you're drafting have to get in at some point and play and see what they can do. Unless you have a playoff caliber team. The Steelers, for example, I assume that they're going to be contending for the division title. They won it last year, so let's assume they'll contend for it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. They might win the division again. Who knows? But it's so a team like that, Drew Aller, I understand if he sees virtually no playing time during the year. That I get, that I support. But if you got a losing team, see what these guys can do. I mean, don't just play a practice squad type player quarterback late in the year.
You're not going to find out what they can do. That's my point. If the team is that bad, which this team probably will be, you're not going to find out what he can do because you're not going to have the bodies around you to succeed. You're put in a position to fail.
But Arizona's got a really good running game now.
Well, they better have
They have no choice but to have a running back. They got 500 damn running backs on their team. Yeah.
Listen, and they've got a good offense. They
got decent offense. They got Trey McBride. They got Harrison.
Yeah.
Who's underachieved, by the way.
Harrison Love,
Gordon, Minshew's the backup there, by the way, Jack. To answer your question, Minshew's the backup. So.
Yeah, that's right. They did get Minshew in the offseason.
They probably played, but Minshew's he's actually a competent backup.
He is.
But that's exactly it. And, Brissett's a competent backup as well.
Correct.
He's a competent backup to a competent backup. That's
team's not ready to win, though. It's okay playing a bridge until they're ready to be better.
Yeah, I agree on that one. I think their offensive line needs to be built up a little bit better, but I think their offense is pretty much straight.
So
I think Arizona prepared for this in the draft.
Got
this is the reason why they got Love. This is the reason why they added a little bit of offense to their repertoire in the draft. So I think they were prepared for this. They said, well, Brissett walks, then we got Minshew. That's why they got him in the offseason. Sure. And then they got Carson Beck. So they're expecting – maybe they're expecting Carson Beck.
Missing the point. Arizona, if Arizona's one of the worst teams next year, which they might be, they are going to draft one of the elite college quarterbacks. Do we agree on that? In all probability, they're going to do that. So what becomes of Carson Beck if you don't play him this year? He's not going to get a chance in the second year.
I didn't say don't play him.
He's never getting a chance.
I didn't say don't play him. I'm saying pick your spots, let him get a feel. You play him later in the season, that's fine, or even find spots to play him during the regular season. Mm-hmm. But don't just throw him out there week one and expect to find out how good or bad he is. Mm-hmm. Unless he's Dan Marino. I mean, maybe he's Dan Marino. I don't know. I don't think he is, but we'll find out.
Let's stay with the 3-year course. Let's stay with the 3-year course with these quarterbacks. I mean,
get out of here. 3 years. You don't learn.
You're throwing Carson Beck out there. I mean, look at Peyton Manning when he came in there. He was horrible in his first year. All rookie quarterbacks are going to be horrible in their first year because they're basically in horrible teams, right?
That's fair.
To his detriment, it didn't stop him. It didn't stop him, though. He became a good quarterback. But
listen, I love to point out with Anthony Lynn, coaching the Chargers. He makes Tyrod Taylor his starter when Justin Herbert was the number 6 overall pick in the draft. And he tells Herbert you're going to carry a clipboard for the year. You'll learn. Like you're going to learn from Tyrod Taylor. Give me a break. Tyrod Taylor, by an idiot doctor, is given a faulty shot.
Oh, I thought he got
He can't play. And Herbert is thrown in an emergency right before the first game of the year and winds up being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. What was he going to learn behind Tyrod Taylor? I mean, we're hearing this stuff. Well, one guy's got to learn from someone else. Like Drew Aller, you're going to learn from Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Rodgers is going to sit down and be working with him? Rodgers will be a good guy. Don't get me wrong.
Jack, I have the perfect example. The Jets put their last big quarterback pick, Zach Wilson, in a position to fail. They will never know. Again, he may have been horrible all along, but we'll never know if he could have done something because they put him in a horrible situation, destroyed his confidence, and that's the end of Zach Wilson. His career is basically done.
No, that's not Keith. Sean Payton got Zach Wilson from the Jets. Sean Payton had a vendetta against the Jets.
Did I miss him having a great year in Denver or something?
No. So Zach, he wanted to rehabilitate Zach Wilson. That would have been his way of sticking it to the Jets. He couldn't do it.
Because the Jets.
Zach Wilson went to Miami. Where's Zach Wilson now?
I don't know. Miami.
Yeah, he's somewhere now. Wait, he's with Miami? No, he's not with Miami.
Football purgatory.
But that's my point. The Jets threw him to the wolves too soon. He didn't have a path to succeed.
And Miami gets Malik Willis. So good gosh, if Zach Wilson was worthy of being the number 2 overall pick in the
Who's
draft.
missing the point now? You like to say we're missing a point, Jack, but you're missing the entire point.
Back to New Orleans. Good.
They wrecked his confidence in the very first year by throwing him out there when he wasn't ready and didn't put him in a position to succeed. So we will never.
Now he's the third stringer at New Orleans.
Jesus, you're not
listening at all. Rattler.
Yeah. Stop waiting for your turn to talk and open your ears, because I keep telling you the Jets ruined his career and his confidence, and he was never going to be any good after that. Doesn't matter where he is now. I'm talking about then, not now. Again, he's a caution.
It does all depend on what a quarterback is, because the type of quarterback is. Like J.J. McCarthy was put in a bad situation because Minnesota reached for him when they shouldn't have, and he got put into a starter role, and they let Sam Darnold go, which was a stupid thing.
It's another great situation. I agree.
Yeah, and now maybe his career. But I don't know. I don't know if it's you don't know that because he really didn't get a chance to do anything.
I just want to say with Keith talking about teams ruining a guy. I don't go for that. If a guy's good, he won't get ruined. Case in point, Keith, your guy, Mac Jones, had a really nice rookie season with New England.
And they ruined
Belichick, that ruined his career, having a good season. But his career's not ruined. His career's not ruined.
Year 2, he has no offensive coordinator, no quarterback coach, no anything. He's got a defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator. They set him up to fail. And
I don't think they. The point, okay, they did a miserable coaching job with him at New England.
Not a good example
on that. But he went to Jacksonville. He reset. He knew he wasn't going to start. And look what he did with the 49ers. Now Jones could be a viable starter on a team, perhaps.
I think you're making my argument for me, but that's fine. Okay.
Well, and I always refer to Joey Harrington for the Lions when they had drafted him. He was a very capable quarterback in college, very good numbers, and Detroit gets him and they just destroy him. And he never really recovers. He goes to other teams and plays a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Hendon Hooker was just an injury. That's all he was. He was an injury.
Some guys are able to play, Jack. I'm not going to say they can't, right? Some guys are able to, or get beat up like Manning did and survive it because it made them mentally tougher. But not everybody's that mentally tough. And, you don't know what you would have got if you allowed them to get mentally tougher by, again, they may not be watching the best quarterback in the world play, but you still can learn watching and learning in practice as well as in games. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
And in closing out today's show, Florida signs the Teddy Bridgewater Act into law. There's a $15,000 limit head coach can spend out of pocket on their players. So After they suspend the guy for this is just a whole stupid trend.
Florida's been heading towards this NIL for high school players for a while now, and this is kind of part of what this case is about. So this is a slippery slope that we started when we started with amateurs in college. It was only a matter of time before we started, giving perks to kids in high school. They already did. I mean, they were moving kids from California to Alabama to play high school. It's nuts what they were already doing. Pay to move whole families across the country to play in a different high school. There's a couple of great documentaries out there. I wish I could remember the name of them. And you wonder yourself, how can they afford to do this? These people don't have jobs. They don't have anything, but they move across the country to get their kid in a different high school. Mm-hmm. How? Somebody's paying them freight.
Somebody is, yeah.
And this is
and to penalize a guy that has been doing what everybody else has been doing, it's just that he's a high-profile head coach in this situation. Yeah. They won a championship. Somebody got sore at the fact that he was kicking everybody's butt in Florida, and they got sore at him.
Just like we talk about everything in sports when certain things, the Michigan nonsense, I'm sorry, with the sign stealing, I guess you're probably agree with me, Brian. It's selective enforcement. When everybody's doing the same things and we decide to prosecute you, then that's selective enforcement, and I just don't have any tolerance for it.
Guys, you want to answer Damien's question?
What was it?
About Jackson Dart and going to the Giants if it doesn't work out. I mean, it doesn't work out in Arizona for Carson Beck. That's all. That media stuff about the Trump thing, that's all. You know how media likes to blow stuff out.
That question's up Keith Sally, actually.
Yeah,
he loves responding to questions like that.
Is he talking about? I can't read the question. Is it specifically about this weekend and Carter speaking out?
Yeah, and Carter speaking out against Dart because he said he didn't understand why. What are we doing here?
Carter already they can do what they want. I mean, they're people too. I mean,
wait. Carter said they were building the team around Beck, and he doesn't get it. Is that it?
No. Carter spoke out about Dart introducing Trump in Westchester County this past weekend, and Carter basically said, "What are we doing here, man?" And so he thought it was AI in the beginning. But now he says there's no problem; they're fine because he says that now there's a narrative out there, which he created, by the way. He's blaming the media for creating a narrative that there's a problem in the locker room. Well, he opened the door, so you
got to be careful. Sometimes you make a little remark, and it's innocent, and it's picked up on, and they make it sound like it's like so dramatic. I mean, they really do. I mean, listen, it happened with James's guy Isaiah Thomas with that Larry Bird thing. Yeah. Isaiah just laughed and they commented, "Oh yeah, Larry Bird would just be another guy," and then he laughed.
He almost got out the show without saying Isaiah Thomas.
No. But I'm just saying that I'm defending him in this instance. I think it was overblown. I mean, sometimes a guy makes an innocent remark. I mean, I got an exclusive story with Evander Holyfield at an airport before he fought Mike Tyson in the second fight. I bumped into him there. We sat down, and he made a remark. I said, "Do you think Tyson's going to be more ready for the rematch than he was the first fight?" And Holyfield said, "Well, he knows he better be ready because he knows what he did the first fight wasn't good enough." And he said it casually. And I'm not the editor. I wrote the story, headline of the magazine. Tyson had better be ready. It sounded like dramatic, the impact, but it was said casually in reality.
By the way, back to Damien's question real quick, that if this came down to we need to get rid of one of these guys, I can pick very easily which one it'll be. If Jackson Dart is the real thing, it's going to be Carter will be gone, not Dart. So
Carter was a really good track starting track, right?
It's a sensitive thing with these athletes.
It really shouldn't mix.
Let them just have their own view or whatever. But I would tell the players this: it can't be more than casual, during the season or whatever with your teammates. I mean,
I agree.
If you're really divisive, if one party feels strongly one way, one feels strongly the other way, unless you have a personal relationship where it's okay and you're getting along, the divisiveness, you kind of have to lay low, unfortunately.
All right. On that note, we will be departing the show. Please catch Keith Ingle next on Stream of Consciousness. And everybody have a good rest of your Sunday. We will see you next Sunday at 8 a.m.
See you guys.